Time now for the best fantasy football advice you'll find anywhere. It's ffchamps.com. It's champs and chumps. Start 'em or sit 'em, baby, on Football Nation. Billy Enright is the fantasy guru from ffchamps.com. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network. Billy, you and your guys at ffchamps.com work hard. You take this seriously. And when it comes to start 'em and sit 'em, champs and chumps, what are you trying to do with this segment?
Plain and simple, Butch. We want to make sure that our members, everyone that follows our fantasy football advice, has the right guys in their starting lineups and the right guys that aren't going to score a lot of points on their bench.
And let's give people a champ and a chump, a starter and a sit 'em for quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Let's start with quarterback. Who are you starting for a quarterback?
San Diego Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers going against his AFC West rival, the Oakland Raiders. No Ryan Matthews likely in the backfield. That means Rivers is going to have to throw a lot. His favorite option of all time, tight end Antonio Gates, is healthy. He's going to have a really good start of the season as long as he stays healthy. And I expect Gates and Rivers to connect a lot in that week 1 matchup against the Raiders. Right now, Rivers is number 9 on the FFCPI, the Fantasy Football Champs Performance Index.
When it comes to quarterbacks and sitting one of them, who's a chump this week?
I'm going to have to go with my man, Andy Dalton. I loved him as a rookie. He was probably a top 15 quarterback rookie season, but I don't even have him as a top 25 quarterback week 1. And that's because he's playing the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night in Baltimore. We all know what their defense is capable of. A.J. Green is really Dalton's only target at the wide receiver position. They have a rookie on the other wide receiver spot. Their tight end, Jermaine Gresham's a little hurt, and I'm not really confident that they'll be able to do much else against the Ravens' defense.
Is he this year's Sam Bradford?
A second-year slump? I'm certainly hoping not, because I like A.J. Green, especially as a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. But in order for Green to get there, Dalton has to progress in his second year.
All right, champ and chump for running backs. Give me a start 'em, give me a sit 'em for running backs this week.
All right, I got Doug Martin, the rookie for the Tampa Bay Bucks, as my stardom, number 12 on the FFCPI. His coach, Greg Schiano, has been praising him all season long. We expect him to get the bulk of the carries for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Carolina Panthers in week 1. And for my chump, I'm going with Donald Brown of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are taking on the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. And that grass there gives a lot of running backs a lot of problems if they're not used to playing there. Andrew Luck, the quarterback for the Colts, is his first game. I'm not really sure how much the Colts will be able to move the ball against the Chicago Bears defense. I'm leaving Donald Brown on my bench.
And when it comes to wide receivers and start 'em and sit 'em, a champ and a chump, there's so many choices with wide receivers, but you got a couple interesting ones here.
Yeah, there are. I'll start off with Eric Decker, who we think is going to be a champ this week. Unfortunately for Ike Taylor and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Taylor deals with that sickle cell trait. Every time he goes to Denver, he can't play because of the high altitude and how it affects his bloodstream. So they're going to have a backup safety in the game. Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, Peyton Manning. We're really excited to watch that trio all season long. We think Decker is going to get the better of the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. We have him as a top 20 wide receiver on the FFCPI.
So, Billy, when it comes to wide receiver, who's your chump? Who are you sitting this week?
Unfortunately, it's Greg Little from the Cleveland Browns. He's got a rookie quarterback in Brandon Weeden, possibly a rookie running back starting in the backfield in Trent Richardson, and plus he's going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, who have 2 very dominant cornerbacks. Not satisfied with what Greg Little can do for your fantasy squad this week. That's why you're leaving him on the bench in week 1.
Safe to say that you and the guys at ffchamps.com are ready for week 1.
Can't wait, baby. Bring it on.
Billy Enright of FF Champs. They're ready for the season. Are you? It's ffchamps.com on Football Nation.